Hi everyone. Well, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. And everybody who's watching online, I'm really excited to be here. I'm unbelievably grateful that you took time out of your life to tune in and see the workshop. I've been teaching for 12 to 15 years, and so to me, it's a great honor to give back to an industry that has given so much to me. So I'm here just excited to give you basically what was given to me. So we'll get started. Some of the things welcome to creativeLIVE, right? So I'm so excited. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for submitting your videos. The beginning. One of the things that I really like to do, especially when teaching new photographers, and you guys are pretty new, is show a lot of my early work, because it really helps new photographers understand that I too once sucked. That's really important to know. My mom said when I decided to go to photography school, this better not be an expensive hobby. Anybody else get that? Like, you know, husbands, mothers, you know, like, what? You want to be a photographer? This is going to be an expensive hobby. And so I failed photography in high school because I was cutting out to hang out with my boyfriend all the time. And then I stole my parents' camera so that I could go out and take pictures. And then those same parents bought me a camera of my own for graduation. I have no idea why, since I had failed in high school. It just doesn't even make sense. And then I started college for sociology, psychology, and was totally bored. Started taking photography classes in college and realized it got limited for what I wanted to do. So I went on to a technical vocational school for fashion and commercial photography in New York City, the Germain School of Photography at the Center for Media Arts, where I got my best education, really. Worked on view cameras and sheet film and processed, and spent lots of time in the darkroom. Anybody have darkroom experience? Yeah. How many people out there have darkroom experience? After that, after school, I went and worked on cruise ships. Is that annoying person that chases you all around the ship and takes pictures of you and tries to sell them? That was me. It was the best experience ever for shooting weddings, because a week-long cruise is like a wedding. You have one shot to get the captain and the passenger. And that, and if your camera's not working, you pop a flash and you hope that they move on, because it's just the way it works. I started my own business at the age of 23. I worked for other studios. I was an assistant. I carried bags. And then I started my own business because I didn't really like being told what to do. So the beginning, 1992, I got my first Bronica camera and SQAI and my 50 millimeter and great on-camera flash, that big giant Metz on-camera flash thing. And I needed a model. I was learning from Don Blair videos. Some of you out there know who Don Blair is. So I was learning from Don Blair, and he was great at hands and posing brides, and so I needed a model to practice posing. And so the only model available to me at the time was my boyfriend. And I had just recently been in a bridal party, and so I had a silk bouquet, and so I was, hey, listen, can you model for me? I need to practice posing. Now here's the thing. Don Blair talked a lot about rotating the knee in and creating S-curve in the body and all this kind of good stuff. Well, he couldn't do that because he's got stuff that women don't have, and I couldn't get him to turn his knee in. And so it was really frustrating to me. And so I went and grabbed the sheet and just covered him up. And so that's where the train comes from. And then we learned early on that the first shot you take is always looking at the camera, and then the second shot is gazing down at the flowers. Yeah, it's good stuff, huh? Please laugh at home, laugh wherever you are. It's hysterical, but this is true. And then I came in for the close-up, and check out that great on-camera flash, the silk bouquet. But check it out, because his head is tilted towards the low shoulder. He's, he looks pleasant, right? This is a 3/4 shot of the bride. And then we do seated 3/4. And again, we have looking at the camera and then gazing down at flowers, right? It's good stuff. But notice the bend of the wrist. If you can see that, there's a bend in his wrist. So I've got the wrist thing going on. I've got his head tilted to the high shoulder, which is a feminine pose. The posing's really good. Everything else stinks. Actually, the whole thing stinks. But yeah, and then you come in for the close-up. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of explaining you can do here. Look at the massive shadow. Look at the massive shadow on the couch. So bad. Okay, so my first 3 weddings. 1993, I'm 23 years old and I have not had a stitch of education yet except maybe some videos, and I have no idea what to do with people, nothing. I have no idea that you're supposed to move your subjects away from the background. The groom was very tall, the bride was heavy set, you never seat a heavy set bride, and there's all kinds of things wrong with this. It gets worse as we go on, so please enjoy the comedy because it's funny. This is before I learned that we don't pull the dress around the front, like the train was meant to be in the back, and stick a pillow under it and just plop a bride there and have her looking out to the side. That's all I can say. I don't know. But I got paid for this job. It really did. I know it's sad, but it wasn't a lot, but I did get paid for it. And this is one of my all-time favorites, okay? Because this is before I took a class with Hanson Fong, and Hanson Fong taught me that you don't put a heavy-set bride in front of a skinny groom and accentuate her butt with her flowers. But what you need to notice here is that I'm trying to get a double profile. You see the double profile in their face. My camera angle is obviously way too low. Her feet are in the wrong place. It's a disaster. And it really doesn't get any better. So I walked into this bride's house and there was this doll there, and I thought, oh wow, the doll matches the bride. This is great. You know, we'll make this work. I don't know why she's pulling her dress that way. Listen, if I could come from this is the point of the story. If I can come from this, anybody can become a good professional photographer. This is the whole point of this. Because it just continues to get worse. But I love this. I mean, she's just, and you can see the quality on this is bad because they're bad scans from old Bronica proofs, right? Because you can tell they're square. Anyway, sit a bride in front of the piano. We'll just keep going because this is fun. Again, I'm 4'11". This is before I learned that I need to get up higher when I'm shooting people who are taller than me. Again, I put a heavy bride in front of a slim groom, making him look really small, making her look really big, shooting up their noses. I have no idea what's going on with the hand posing here. It's just horrible. That's bad, huh? I know you guys watching online, you probably were never even this bad. It's okay. Here we go. This is... Now, okay, again, I'm 23. What in the world possessed me to say, hey, go sit next to the pumpkin head? Can you imagine what I was thinking? I don't even know. What in the world was I thinking? Go sit next to the pumpkin head. This will make a great shot. But I did it. And it gets better. Now, I can only imagine for a minute, going back that long ago, because it's a good 20 years, no, yeah, a long time ago. It's a long time ago. But imagine for a moment me turning to a bride and saying, turn and kiss the pumpkin head. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done. So we have her kissing the pumpkin. Her hand is beautifully placed. Her ankles are crossed. The flowers are to the side. I mean, really. I think it was this moment that I discovered I really absolutely needed to get an education. So that's where getting educated comes in. My great mentors were Monty Zucker, Hanson Fong, Clay Blackmore, Susan Cameron. They taught me more than I could ever give back. And so we get better as time goes on, right? We learn to use architecture. We learn to pose the bride so her body looks appropriate. We learn to put the train behind the dress. Here we learn to pull subjects away from the background, bounce light off the ceiling, have people leaning in, right? So it got better fast, right? Yeah. Here, as I started to get into more photojournalistic photography, I used all of the things I learned as a classic photographer to make my photojournalism look good. This is one of my favorite images I shot in Canada. This bride is leaning up against a filthy train car on a railroad track that was graffitied up, which was really cool. She was a great sport, but just a fun image. Again, some more photojournalism. And I'm just sort of taking you through a progression of my work right now. More wedding work. For 15 years in New York, I only photographed weddings. Amazing, great weddings in New York City. This is another favorite image of mine. I did same bride in Canada. It's amazing what education can do, right? Yeah. Feel free to, jump in and laugh anytime you want. I love this backlit, pencil light on their faces, groom leaning in, backlight. I mean, there's just all sorts of good stuff going on here. I got the double profile much better on this one, right? This is a way better double profile. And once I moved to Arizona, so I'm originally from New York, and after 15 years of shooting weddings, decided to move to Arizona. It was kind of a mind escape. I'm not really sure what happened, but I really like it there. But the weddings in Arizona were totally boring, just not my pace. And so friends and family started to suggest that I photograph children and families, and I was like, no, I have no patience for kids. Like, I have plenty of patience for cranky brides, but no patience for kids. And, well, it looked like I did, because I started photographing infants and families and kids. And I love this image, because this dad walked into my studio, and I completely yelled at him. I was like, dude, you couldn't like bother to shave this morning? Like, you're being photographed with your baby and you didn't even bother to shave your face? What is wrong with you? And then once the picture came out, I was like, oh, that looks so awesome. Like this scruffy, tough guy with like a pure little soft, innocent baby. And now I absolutely love that image. And I apologize to him for yelling at him. Moms and babies. This is all available light, by the way. I'll just jump in and say that. Infants. These infants took 4 hours to get this one shot. If you've ever worked with twins, you know somebody's peeing, somebody's pooping, somebody's crying, somebody's sleeping, somebody's punching the other one. Like, to get like 1 minute of 2 babies sleeping together like that takes 4 hours. So I had the patience, right? Children, this is all done in my studio at the time. But yeah, much better than the early stuff, huh? Much better. Families, I really started to fall in love with family photography. I think it's one of the most important things we can do as photographers. Especially moms, you know, moms are always taking the pictures of their families, right? Moms are never in the pictures. But if we look back, the most important thing we have is pictures of our family, right? When you think about it, first thing when, you know, we lose somebody is we want more pictures of them. So family portraits are one of my favorite things to do, just because it's a great way to bring a family together, create a great memory, and leave something behind for the kids. I always say to moms, we're not doing this family portrait for you today. This family portrait's for your kids someday. Because someday you're not going to be here, and this is what they're going to have. I'm Italian, I'm Catholic, I bring in a lot of guilt. You know, it's good stuff. I love working with older families, and I love working with elderly. And I've got a whole thing on them. They're the best. If you think moms are vain at like 40-something, you wait till you get to 80. It's a whole different ballgame. But this is, you know, it's a forgotten generation. And the funny thing is, in New York, a lot of the East Coast, they don't really do a lot of high school senior photography. So I didn't really know what high school senior photography was until I moved out to Arizona. And when people used to say to me, you know, senior photography, this is what I thought they meant, right? And really, there should be a market for this, because, you know, this is how we remember people when they're late in their years. And this is Kathy and her mom, Anna. And just because her name was Anna, I fell in love with her. She's Italian. My daughter's Anna. My grandmother was Anna. So I instantly fell in love with Anna. But she's hysterical, because she walked into my studio and she had her little walker. And she's like, I'm not smiling. My teeth are yellow. I'm wrinkled. I don't understand why she waited till I was 83 to have this portrait done. I don't understand why she couldn't have done this 20 years ago. It was hilarious. And I was not about to argue with Anna, and she didn't smile, but I don't care. I still love it.